Life is made up of so many moments, big and small.
Hey, Dad, it's your turn.
Sometimes the best memories are just time well spent together. Only time will tell what our most cherished moments will be. Montana Moments. Celebrate what matters.
Well, welcome to episode number 85, according to Flint. We don't mess with the young punks much. I changed my mind. And I mean, what better representative of a young punk bull rider than Mason Taylor himself? I don't, and I told you this, I haven't used a lot of young guys because I don't know, I've always preferred in this podcast to tell a story and somebody with a story. And I don't know a lot of the young guys that I was watching this past weekend as we record this, coming off of Tulsa.
Yes.
And the first night you look strong, like thinking, damn, that Mason's making a comeback. That's a good story. It's a good story.
Thanks. It's been a long road back. Like it's been this last me getting hurt. That's been the longest I've ever went my entire life without getting on a bull. And I tried to come back twice and come back too early, and I fell off of one bull. I fell off of a bull in Oklahoma City, Washita Red of Brennan's, and he's a bucker, but he tore my groin again when he bucked me off. And then I waited for a month again, and I went to Cody Lambert's house and got on a steer, and the steer bucked me off, and I tore my groin again. And it was just it was the most embarrassing moment like that I've ever been a part of, is falling off in front of Cody Lambert, Justin McBride, and all them great guys over there off of a steer. And it just it's the most embarrassing thing that I've ever went through. And it's been a long road back, but man, I sure am glad that everything's holding up and I'm finally able to, be at the highest level again.
So what'd you do? Well, first of all, people from the outside, of course, you and I have done Q&A things with people, and they ask about injuries. What's the most common injury? And I always say the kiss of death for a bull rider is a groin injury.
Yeah.
Right? That is the elephant in the room. It's when somebody walks out holding their groin, and maybe the most common, right?
It's damn sure one that you always hear guys talk about. Yeah, man, I tore my groin, like it sucked. And, but you always see them come back, and I thought it was just going to be, a easy, sit out 3 months, come back. No, dude, it was not only the most weird injury I've ever had, but riding bulls wise, I could not stay on. Like if your groin don't work, I don't know how Dalton did it for that half a season one time. Like I really have no idea how Dalton rode with both of his tore off the ground. Off the bone.
Is it terrible pain? You said it's weird. Does that mean it's not terrible pain, or is no strength, or what's weird about it?
Curious. So for mine, in an instance, when I would go to set my feet down and to use my spur, it would just ball up on the back of my hand because it was on where I put my hand down. So every time a bull would kick and I'd go to use my feet, it would just ball up and send a sharp pain, just all the way down my leg and all the way up. And so when I get off, it just feel like there was a knot. It felt like the whole muscle was just knotted up. I don't know. It was the weirdest feeling I've ever had.
Probably the biggest knot you've ever had in your groin. But I mean,
yeah.
at least there was something there, right? I mean, really, yeah. I don't know. It's I've always wondered that. What do they do when you have groin surgery? What are they attaching? Like, I suppose it's different. Some rip off the bones. What was yours?
So exactly? I didn't have to have surgery. So mine was just below where it pulls off the bone. Mine was just where in the crease of your leg. I tore. Tandy explained it to me. There's 4 grades. There's a grade 1, a grade 2, grade 3, and grade 4 is completely in half. So I had a grade 2 where half of the muscle was tore, and now there's an indention in my leg and just pretty much a hole there. But the way he explained it to me was it was in the belly of the muscle. He said, I can't tell you when it's going to heal. He said, but it will heal. He said, I can't give you a time frame. And so I would get to feeling good. A month would go by, I'd get to feeling good, everything quit hurting. And I tried to come back twice. And when I fell off the steer, I come home and I told my mom and dad and I told Caitlin, my wife, I said, I'm done. I said, that's it. I said, if I can't ride a steer and, nothing, and that doesn't bother it, I said, I'm done. I'm retiring. Like, I know I'm young. I know that all this, I said, but that was the most not only retarded thing I've had to ever go through in my life, but like it embarrassed me so bad that I was done. I wasn't ever going to get on another bull.
And then you started doing the books on your bank account and whatnot.
I started getting broke and I started feeling really good. And I said, I'm getting on another one.
But what the difference? So the difference this time is, from what I'm hearing, is time. Yeah, you were being impatient.
Yeah. I took this last time I took it was right at 5 months. It was right at 5 months, and in that 5 months, I didn't do nothing. I would buck bulls at the house with some buddies like Austin Richardson when he would come get on, or if some of the kids around the house wanted to come get on, I'd go over there to the house and we'd buck bulls. And that was all I did. Like I just jacked with the bulls at my house, and I'd ride a horse every now and then, but I was really careful because I didn't want to, jack nothing up. And that and a lot of praying. I was scared to death that I wasn't supposed to get on. Yeah.
Pedal a bike? Did you do, or you just let it?
I literally talked to so many people, and one of them was Jim Sharp. So I talked to Ranger because I heard
Sharp. Who? Oh, Jim Sharp. Yeah.
So I talked to Jim Sharp, and he told me, because I heard that he had bad growing. So I asked McBride for his number so I could call him to see what he did. And he did the same thing. He said, I couldn't pinpoint when mine quit hurting. He said, but I just finally took long enough off at the house that it just healed. He said, I can't really give you an exact time of when it happened. He said, I just finally took long enough off that it quit hurting.
Yeah. Time.
Yeah.
By the way, I should say fellow Team Cooper Tire member. I should throw that in for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Right. It'd make us both look good.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool though? When you're at a point in your career that you have those opportunities, regardless of who it is, there's a little security there. There's a little traveling money. Yeah. I don't know. It's that point. I remember about 1998. You don't remember that probably, when I was approached by or had those opportunities, and it felt like it gave me that confidence. I would imagine it as a rider. It could work either way. It could make you cocky or make you confident. Just gave me that little boost of confidence knowing somebody trusted what I was doing. Yes. I would imagine same with you.
And believes in you. They believe in you enough, or your ability enough to be like, I want my name on that guy. And when I got my first ever sponsors, man, it was the coolest feeling in the world, because we don't, as kids growing up, we watch all the guys on TV, but sponsors, we see them on there, but we really, as a young kid, you don't realize how much that they help. They're literally paying you to represent their brand and to travel all around the world to live your dream. It's pretty much having someone to pay you to go have fun. Yeah. In a sense. Like you got really good at having fun at your job, and someone is rewarding you for it. It's the coolest thing ever.
I've told the story a lot on here. People probably, again, I tell a lot of stories over and over because I'm an old man. But, you get calls from young people or parents. Hey, my son wants some sponsors. Can you give us some numbers? How do you get sponsors? It's the old Ty Murray story where the kid came up to him and said, man, how do I get some sponsors? And he said, when? He goes, now. He goes, no, win. Yeah. Be really good. Yeah. And there's always that, well, yeah, but How do I go
Mhm.
get, no, that be good.
Yeah.
Be good at your job, whichever
Yeah.
job that is.
No,
Is
for dang sure. You see all these kids nowadays, like in the junior associations and stuff, they've got, I mean, you can't, they look like a walking billboard,
yeah.
and they're getting paid at 13 years old to wear and represent these brands.
Do you
Like,
think? Do you think they're getting paid though?
I mean, at
What,
least the
what do
one
you think?
kid,
Yeah.
the one kid that I'm thinking of, Hagen Braswell, he'd gotten paid from the time he was 14.
Huh.
And I was just like, man, when I was 14, if I was stickered up like that and getting paid, I would have been the biggest shithead ever. I would have been the biggest freaking cocky little arrogant
Well,
bull rider walking
you were
around.
you were top 10 anyway in being a shithead, right?
Oh,
I
I
mean,
know. I know. I'd have been number one though. I'd have went from 10 to 1.
I know. I don't know. I remember a few years ago I was at the NFR because I do my show there.
Yeah.
I had people contact me requesting, hey, my son's a really good bull rider upstairs at the junior NFR. Can we please be on your show? Well, uh,
Yeah.
I'm good. There's a whole bunch of NFR guys, and then
Yeah.
come get autographs from the junior NFR. Well, I just don't think I don't think that's a manufactured thing. I think an autograph thing is someone you seek out because it means something. So I don't
Yep.
know how healthy it is for everybody.
Yeah, I don't. I
Create it.
see what you're saying there. Yeah. Because the first time I ever got to go sign autographs at a PBR, you remember how before COVID they would make us all walk out in the arena and walk around
Yeah.
and sign autographs? I'll never forget it. We were in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It was my first event ever, and somebody recognized me from watching Velocities, and they were like, "Mason, you're doing great. Can I have your autograph?" And I'm like, that might have been the one person in the entire building that knew who I was, but it gave me confidence to be like, this is my first event, but somebody does know me here. Maybe I do belong here amongst the best. So I think it's healthy in a sense at that point for young guys. When someone recognizes them, it gives them a certain boost of, confidence. But I feel like if you do it at too much of a young age, they'll take it for granted and not enjoy it, like you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That was my take
Yeah.
on it.
I
I don't know about
completely
yours,
good.
but
Same. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with you. But
yeah,
I give you a bad time, but you've changed, and we all change. What's the point of going through life if we don't evolve? I
yes, sir.
remember, I think it was in Billings. I was doing Q&A, one of those tours with you. Zeke
Yep.
might have been with us. And somebody said, what do you do like for workouts to prepare? And you instantly said, I don't do anything. I'm down at the JB Mooney deal. I
Yep.
think I pulled you aside and said, make something up.
Yep.
Like,
You
I
did.
know
Yeah.
that's your first answer. I said, they want to know you're a professional athlete.
Yep.
But now you've changed. First of all, you've changed here, but now your career has gotten longer. That was, I mean, how old are you now?
I'm 24.
So that was 5 years ago,
Yep.
probably.
Yep.
You now see if you're going to last in this deal, first of all, you need to do something for your career to last, and you need to give that person an answer, right?
Yep. For dang sure. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm as much of a gym rat as Cooper is, because Cooper goes every single day and he
Yeah.
works out and he watches what he eats and all that. And he taught me a lot. Like, I mean, I don't do as much as I should, but I have to now. Like, it is a point that I have to stay to where I'm either riding a horse bareback, or I'm jumping rope in the garage, or I'm sitting in the sauna, or I'm doing stuff that is going to help not only my bull riding, but me in general staying healthy enough to be the best that I can be. Because I've had injuries now and surgeries to where stuff don't move like it used to. I have to do these things to get ready.
Yeah. Hey, I I understand stuff not moving like it
Yeah.
used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I've noticed that about you, and I've expressed that to you, maybe not in those words, but I know Our guy Rich Blinn has tortured you.
Oh
Rich
man.
Blinn, Cheeks from our sports medicine program. He has tortured you for 5 years
Yeah.
about
Oh yeah.
calling you on the carpet in Big Sky, and all of that is healthy because
Yeah.
all of that is building blocks to get you to the guy you are now. What would you do without
Exactly.
that? Right?
I mean, I don't know where I would be. I probably wouldn't have stayed around or changed or matured or, wanted to prove him wrong or, stuff like that. It's little things like that that make great stories that you're talking about, having a story. I
Yeah.
mean, all part of it. It's all, like you're saying, building blocks and stepping stones to the end goal. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, I enjoy every minute of it.
It's funny when I've been around a few guys through my years that will go, I'm more like JB Mooney. I don't do something, not just it, and I always go to him. There was one. There was one of those. And everything, listen, JB, I think people looked at him and had a beer and a cigarette and he's doing
Yeah.
this. But I guarantee you, much like Justin McBride, you can ask him and he'll tell you, and I'm sure he has. It may have looked like they were dicking around doing stuff. Everything they were doing, they were thinking about bull riding and they were thinking
Yep.
about winning.
Yep.
Every bit of it. So it's not what people think, I don't think.
It's not, no, because me being fortunate enough to be on Justin's team now and being able to go through the team format with him as a coach, how he goes about being a coach is how he went about riding bulls. And like you said, it might have looked like that he was always jacking around, but nobody knows what he was doing in his hotel room when he woke up. Everybody's seen the wild and the partying and all that stuff, at nighttime, but they never seen when he would get up in the morning and do the workout that Ty gave him when he would work out in the morning in the floor of his hotel room. And then when he would go to the event, they always seen afterwards, in the locker room drinking beer and doing all that. They don't remember that he just was 93 and won the round, like everything that he did was for winning bull riding. And he tells us all the time, I don't care what y'all go do. He said, but when y'all come into this building, there's a certain standard and you have to get the job done. Because if you don't get the job done, then why are you here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
I think it's cool. So I watched, for one, I was watching the championship round from Tulsa. So great. So great to see a round like that again. But here, you're the first one out in the championship round, correct?
yep.
Justin McBride is doing the commentary on TV. Justin McBride, who during the team season is your coach.
Yes.
I knew exactly what he was doing. He started, because I made a note. I was sitting there and wrote it down. He said, and you know how he gets that gravel on paper. He said, on paper, this doesn't look good for Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
And he said, this is a guy that should be top 10 every season in the PBR, but he's just not. So I don't know what's going to happen. The bull was border crisis.
Yep.
And you rode the piss out of that bull perfectly. Justin McBride, I felt him, if you watch it back or whatever, sending you a message because he knows it about you, that damn it, you should be top 10 every year. That's the message he said, and he believes it, and he said it on TV to get it across to you. You think right there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he, I don't know, it's weird. Him and Lambert are the only two people that can say the things like that click in my head. Other people say it and, I'll just kind of blow. Yeah. Yeah. They'll try to tell me whatever I'm doing wrong or whatever. But McBride and Lambert have simplified it so much for me to understand it that, yeah, nobody wanted that bull at all. They left him. I was 12. And you know what's crazy now? I was sitting down on the arena floor while everybody was picking, and I looked at Dalton and I said, man, I'm just glad to be back. And he said, yeah. He said, we're glad you're back. I said, I've missed having to get on something that nobody wants to get on. Like, I'm craving it right now. Like, I don't care which one it is, I've missed the feeling of, dang, I don't want to get on that one, but I have to. Like I've missed that freaking feeling. So when I was walking back there, Jesse Petrie asked me, "What'd you get?" I said, "Border Crisis." He said, "Oh." I said, "Nah, it's all right." I said, "I'll just ride all the black off of him." So I freaking went over there and I got my rope, went on the back of the buck and shoots, and the whole thing that went through my head was every team season or during the team season, every event, Justin would look at whoever kind of had the tougher bull in the pen and be like, "Hey, don't talk yourself out of it. One, and two, it's an opportunity to be great." So that's all I thought about when I got on the back of the buck and shoot. It's an opportunity because the bull's supposed to buck me off. He's supposed to. That's his job. I mean, nobody likes him. I'm not supposed to get along with him. But who cares? It's an opportunity. What if I ride him? That's what I was thinking about. What if I ride him?
Yeah.
And then when I rode him and got off, I was just like, yeah, he just cracked him out and turned back right there to the left. But it felt so good that everybody had left him there because they didn't want him. And I was able to make the most of that chance. Like I appreciate that more.
Yeah. Well, why didn't anybody want it? It must have been a good day for him.
Yeah, that was, I honestly, I don't know if that's him every time. I haven't seen him very much. I just know that he normally don't stand that good in the buck and shoot. Like he's got a halter on, and I guess at Denver, Court McFadden got on him and audited, and they didn't let the halter go in time. Well, the gate was open, and they finally let the halter go and flipped over on Court. So I don't know. I guess he's just a little hair triggered in there, but I mean, I just kind of kept my weight off of him and walked up there and just, when I went, I'm glad they let the halter go, I guess.
Well, look good. Yeah. And
yeah.
By the way, McBride's right. You should be top 10 every year. I mean, we all know it. You just need to know it. Right. And now
for sure.
Feeling good. You bring up teams a lot. I've said with the team thing that a lot of cowboys are cowboys because they don't want to be on a team. That's just a fact. A lot of rodeo and bull riding fans are fans because they don't want to watch a team. But it does bring some great elements. And the thing, I've always given an advantage in rodeo, bull riding, whatever event it is. I've always given just a little advantage to those guys who played other sports.
Yep.
Stuff's falling here. Because I think there's a way you learn how to win, you learn how to train, you learn now on the team stuff. But you were like, your golf game ain't too shabby. There's not a more mental game in the world than
That's
golf.
No joke.
There's got to be something that translate. Like, how good a golfer are you? Tell me about your golf game.
Well, when I was playing every day before I tore my groin and couldn't play all the time, I got to where I could consistently go out and shoot between 75 and 79.
That's not bad. That's good.
Yeah.
Logan's a golfer. Yeah.
So I could consistently go out and shoot between 75 and 79. And
now that's on 9 holes, right? That's 9.
Yeah, that's on 9. And my lowest round ever, I went to my home course, and during a skins game, I played and I shot 69. It was the craziest round of golf I've ever went and played in my life. I will never feel another feeling like that ever on a golf course again. Like I could hit whatever shot I wanted. My putter was hot. My wedge game was ridiculous. Like it was. I can say I shot 69, but I'll never do it again.
That mental part of that, when you're dialed in golfing, it is. You'll say these golfers are making all this money hitting a little ball. Try it. Go ahead. But that mental part of it, you got to be able to carry some of that over. I mean, there's a focus there. Yeah.
The way that I compared the two, or the way that I feel like playing a lot of golf and then riding bulls and stuff, the way that I could translate the two was making sure that my routine was the exact same every single time. So my routine before I'd set up and hit a shot, I made sure that it was the same every time. Because if I do the same things every time, I can hit a good shot every time. So I would always make sure that, when I go to the arena, I would make sure that I do the same thing every time. Whether I stay on, whether I don't, I try not to be superstitious. But there's just some things that I am superstitious about. But most of the time that I would just try to make sure that I do the same exact thing every time. Being disciplined enough to take the amount of time to do everything that I do the exact same every time. And I feel like that's how I compared the two because, everybody wants to go for it on a par five. If you can hit your clubs fairly decent, you hit a good drive, you want to go for it to par five. You want to try to get there.
Right.
When I shot 69 that day, there's there's 3 par fives on my course. And 2 of them are very gettable, and one of them you have to have a 30-mile-an-hour wind behind you to even try to think about getting it there in 2. So I just, was like, I'm just going to be disciplined enough to lay up on every par 3 today, or lay up on every par 5 and par every par 3 today. That was my goal.
Mhm.
I birdied 3 out of the 4 par 3s, and I birdied every par 5 that day. And so me setting that one little goal of not going for it on the par 5s and making sure that I took enough club to par every par 3 turned out it went a lot better than it should have. And I birdied 3 out of the 4 par 3s, and I birdied every par 5.
Mm.
And, it just kind of showed me, yeah, going for it is cool. That's the cool thing to do. But the business thing to do is to lay up, get up there, 2-putt, and leave. Don't take any strokes. So
You
I
had a
kind
plan.
of put,
You had a
huh?
plan. You had
I
a
had a
plan.
plan.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I try to do in bull riding. The bulls, you don't ever know what they're going to do, but some of them do have a pattern that they like to do. So me getting a game plan together is like that. So now my goal before I go and get on any bull, and I've said it since I rode really good at the finals that one year I broke my jaw. I just take it one jump at a time, and I try to ride them like they're going straight.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I think about now. Because if I can take the first jump away from him and win the first jump, I can win the second jump. And if I just focus on each jump the same and take the same approach to every bull, I'm more likely going to succeed now because I'm not thinking about who he's bucked off or what he's supposed to do or anything like that. I just try to take it one jump at a time, one bull at a time. And if you ride 3 in a weekend, you ain't going to take no less than third.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
I've learned from Justin McBride that it's easy. Good posture, find the front end, keep your shoulders with his shoulders.
Yep.
He says it all the time.
It's that simple. That's what I mean when I say him and Lambert have simplified it so much for me to understand. If you just meet them, like if you win every jump, if you win every single jump that bull takes, well, then the whistle's going to go off, and now you just got to worry about getting off good enough to get on another one.
Yeah.
I mean, they've simplified it that much.
Yeah.
Justin McBride told me one time, he said, if I can see him, I can ride him.
Yeah, true.
So head down, you're looking at him, and you just went, like you're saying, great posture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ty Murray always said there's not that many. There's very few fundamentals to bull riding. You just have to do them all at the right time.
Yep.
You just have to, time it out.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
But yeah, interesting. You were, talking about team sports, but you were a baseball guy. Big into baseball.
Used to be, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Used to be. I used
were
to
you,
be
were you catcher? What?
Yep. Pitcher, catcher. Yep.
So you guys almost made it to Pennsylvania to the Little League World Series, right?
Yeah.
Real close.
Yeah. It is crazy. Yeah. I-35 Express was the name of that team. And that was one of the coolest teams that I've been a part of. Like you get with a team, or you watch a movie about a team that all the guys just
Huh?
click. You're one moving unit, and that team. I was a part of that team for 4 years, and 2 out of them 4 years, we got to go to the Little League World Series here, and then missed it the 1 year going to Williamsport by one game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That
but
Williamsport, it's cool.
that
That's
that 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 is why I think I'm coachable in a team's aspect in bull riding, and not only coachable, know how to relate in a team format
yeah.
because of that team right there, I-35 Express. Our Coach Terry, he was a very, very disciplined coach. You show up at this time, we're going to work on these things. And then after, we can go have fun, go eat, do whatever. But when we show up, we're there to not make errors. Was the one, like, we literally had a sheet that was rules in the dugout. No fumbled errors. Number 2, work as a team. And number 3, enjoy the game. We would enjoy the game of baseball. Don't take it for granted or do none of that. Like, it was a really fun team to be a part of.
And on that team, now that you're 24 years old, anybody that you played with that plays now, you watch, that went on to play bigger?
I don't know if they're not on any major league teams, no, but they're all in college right now. And I think one of them still plays baseball, and I think it's Landon Moon. And I don't know where he's going to college or nothing like that, but I don't know if he's still playing or not. But I know he was when he graduated high school. So
as we record this, I know it's going to be available.
Yeah.
As we record this, I'm going to a wedding this weekend, and it's my nephew, my sister's son, and he's been with the White Sox and is now the pitching coach at University of Nebraska Omaha. So
that's awesome.
So I'm practically a great baseball player just because of I played second base because that's all the stronger arm I had. Right. second to first. So I could steal a lot of bases though. I was pretty quick. So yeah.
Man, I used to be quick. Like, that was one thing I loved was, leading off. And hey, when you're a young kid, like playing, when you're, 10 years old or whatever, and you hit 11U and they let you start leading off, you think you're the biggest. You think you're a major league baseball player when you're over there leading off and watching the pitcher. And oh yeah, am I gonna go? Am I gonna go yet? Oh yeah, it was fun.
Like Willie Mays Hayes.
Oh yeah.
Major league. Where are you going? About 90 feet. Kind of one last thing. And this was inspired, this question, by something Cooper Davis told me about learning. He said the team, there's so many things people have talked about the bull riding team deal. And he said the one thing, said never in his career was he on a group message or had numbers of Brazilian riders. Everybody was always friendly. Everybody gets along, but to really learn things about them. What about you in your dealings where you're closer with guys? Anything you've learned or seen about the Brazilian riders that maybe you didn't know before that either surprised you, impressed you, Man,
I'm just like, and it impresses me all the time. Like, every team practice, I've noticed it. Like, them guys are a family, every one of them. Like, there's probably over 100 of them now in Decatur. And when it's not freezing outside like it is now, like, they'll buck bulls at Jose's house or Kaiki's house or Silvano's house and have a barbecue, and they're one big family. I mean, and I've noticed it, like when we had a team practice at Silvano's house or Kaiki's, we would buck bulls, and then we'd go up there, they would cook picanha, and we would sit there and just literally whatever we wanted to talk about. We'd sit there and eat dinner and enjoy each other's company and just hang out. Well, that's them all the time. And it just impressed me that these guys probably didn't know each other in Brazil, but here they're a collective unit. Like they're a family. If one of them goes down, they all, you know, it's just crazy. Like
Huh.
how everything is over there in Decatur. Like it surprised the crap out of me, honestly, because I figured, like us, we have our group of friends we hang out with, and then we got our friends that we see on the weekend, and then we got our friends that we'll go out to the bar with and whatever. Well, that's 3 different or 4 different set of
Mhm.
friend groups. These guys, they do everything together. Everything. I mean, they travel to the weekend together, they stay together, they come home, they hang out together. I mean, it's nuts.
Yes, when you're taken out of your own culture and there's a language barrier, you got to stick with each other.
I'm telling you, yeah.
I've said a while, people are like, man, look how good they're doing. And with the language barrier, there's so much, well, the language barrier can be a benefit because they're not distracted by all the
They're
other
not
crap.
distracted by nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think I get a kick out of watching Kaiki do an interview. He acts like he can't speak English,
Oh,
but
yeah, I know.
you go back there into the locker room and you can have a complete and full understanding conversation with him. It cracks me up.
I've told Silvano now that I've got to know him better, probably
Yeah.
in the last 3 years, I've got to know Silvano better. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're a turd, man. You've made your living out of pretending you don't speak English.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
oh, no interview. No interview.
Yeah.
Oh, you're full of crap, man.
Yeah,
Because
he is. 'Cause,
because
hey, I
he's
promise you, he speaks as good as English as I do.
because he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Silvano's sneaky funny, but
Oh, he is hilarious.
they all freaking cook. Like they all
Oh,
can.
every one of them. They're all
Lucas
good cooks
Lucas
too.
Teodoro stayed at my place and cooked for Webb and I. Just crazy.
No, he's man, and I don't understand how they make that picanha steak taste so good. They just
It's
use salt.
it's
It's
sea
just
salt.
salt.
It's coarse sea salt. And they've told me forever, you get good meat, you got to get good beef.
Yeah.
But that coarse sea salt and the salt gets hotter than the norm, so it seals in the flavor and
Yeah.
look at us. Look at having it. Oh, but it's true
Uh-huh.
and they just kind of do this.
They just kind of, yep.
Yeah. And then they flip it a lot. And I don't know. Look,
I
we're
don't know
giving.
either because hey, I tried to cook it one time and it was good, but it don't taste like no freaking how they do it.
Yeah. Look at us giving cooking tips. This podcast,
Hey,
cooking tips.
you ought to ask Keith Ryan Cartwright how his picanha experience went.
Did he try to cook or did
He
he?
tried to cook it at home and he come back and he said, "Yeah, it's stuffed. I ain't ever cooking it again."
Something about it, man. Something about it.
Oh yeah.
Also, then I'll let you go. This is one thing I want to bring up is that we have as impressive a young group of bull riders. And I will say, I mean, yeah, Casio Diaz is out. He's out of this world. But
Yeah, he's
the
right.
group, it's encouraging to see the young group of American bull riders. We got you, Court McFadden's right there, Little A, Austin Richardson, John Crimber, he's a hybrid,
Oh yeah.
Man, that's fun to see. We come out of Tulsa with 7 90-point rides in the short round and in bull country. Of course, it's right after I'm done in the arena, but it excites me. I am ingrained in it.
Yeah.
I'm hooked right now. Good group.
It's a great group. Because like when me and Zeke and Dalton Castle and Dalen Swearingen, like when we all come around and we were the group of rookies that were up, it was a lot of fun because of, we knew each other, we hung out with each other, but we still kind of wanted to beat each other, we still do to this day. We want to beat each other every time. But the group of kids that are coming up now, they are best friends. Like I mean, they went to every junior rodeo together and high school rodeo together that I know of, like high school finals and all that. Like you got Clay Guyton and
Yeah,
John
Clay. I forgot
Crimber.
about Clay. Yeah.
I mean, you got Clay Guyton, John Crimber, Caden Bunch.
Caden
You
Loud.
got Caden
Caden
Loud.
Loud.
I mean,
Jeez.
Caden Loud lives, he lives 15 minutes from my house and he hangs out with me and Austin Richardson all the time.
Does
Like
he speak? Does he talk?
Yeah, he does. You remember Cannon Cravens? He about like him.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
Cannon.
If he knows you, he'll talk to you. But if not, he ain't got nothing to say to nobody.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. But,
But-
yeah, he lives just down the road, and we've been hanging out with Caden for. I mean, Lil A's been hanging out with him since he was 10 years old, and I've seen him at the TYBR since he was in the calf riding. I mean, like all these kids that are coming up are like our little brothers that we've seen at every junior rodeo, every high school rodeo, and it's just cool that they're actually not only in the locker room with us, but they deserve to be there. I mean, these kids are freaking ranked that are coming up.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. It elevates
yeah.
the sport. I mean, it does nothing but help the sport.
Yeah. I remember when Chris Shivers and Luke Snyder, when they were those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it can be fun. So, well, listen, buddy, I appreciate your thoughts. And
Thank you for having me.
You should be a top 10 guy every time.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
and I wanted to do this because I've seen where you've been and what you were and what you become, and always a good kid. Just well, you little turd. My sister always says, "Go lay in the grass with the other turds," and you don't have to lay in the grass anymore, Mason.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm growing up.
That's right. So keep it up. Let's go. All right.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Flint. See you.